We left off pasuk Yud Daled. Pasuk Yud Daled, parshas Nitzavim. So we're entering into the bris with Hashem. Ki asher yeshno po imonu omeid hayom b'fnei Hashem Elokeinu. Those who are here together with us, who stand before Hashem, veis asher enu po imonu hayom, and those who are not here. So Rashi cites the Midrash. Af veis asher enu po af ibdoras hasidim lios. This bris even applies to the future generations who are meant to come into being. So over here, the Rechaim HaKodesh asks a question. He says, Lo itchem levadchem anochi koros habris. Not only with you. It could have said, the bris is with you and the future generations. Kosh lo mahutzich lo lo itchem. Lo hispik l'bomer yeshe sheyesh no imonu v'shenenu imonu. Would have been enough. What do you have to first say? It's not only with you, but it's with those here and those not here. You should say, I'm making this bris with those who are here, with those who are not here. So what's this emphasis, not only with you, but what does it bring out? So he says, meaning that the degree of the bris that they're accepting upon themselves, they have to accept that it's not Hashem's making the bris with the future generations. They have an obligation to assume that responsibility on behalf of the future generations. That's lo itchem levadchem. Say Hashem is making the bris with you and with them. And how do you fit into the picture? The ones who are here now. You're accepting the bris on their behalf to the same degree that you're accepting the bris upon yourself. Okay? This is a concept of Zochel Shalom Fonov. Right? It's in your best interest. Right? V'omer lo itchem levadchem pirush chayv eschem varani koris. Elakain mein osam shem imonu mein osam. He says, if it wouldn't have said it, what would I have thought? Me'atum lo hoy omer elo es hayeshno v'es hashenenu po. Koris lo hoya nishma elo shashem chayv gam aboy machreim. Aval einu mechayv es hayeshno omeid shom al zar machreim. Meaning, you're responsible to accept on their behalf. Aval einu mechayv es hayeshno omeid shom al zar machreim. Omro lo itchem vatchem gilo kav shebeilo atz ba'ola atzmo shekoris ma'omdim shom moshe v'chayvom aladoros. I think he's saying that they're responsible if the future generations fail because you didn't accept it sufficiently for them. You're going to be liable even for the future generations. V'shira kosev lo itchem levatchem ani mechayv ala omur el avdor saboy machrechem lo zehoyot nishma omer el. No, he's saying lo shis chayvu omdim shom lekabel aleim. You have no responsibility except on behalf of your children. You have an option, but the question: what difference does it make? What difference does it make if you do accept it, you don't accept? So there's a Ravina Bachyo. He says on the pasuk Torah Tzivulonu Moshe Morosha Kilas Yaakov. Why does it say Yerusha? So he says Morosha means that when you're accepting upon yourself the heritage is meant to guarantee it could be passed on. To accept upon yourself and just abandon it and say it's irrelevant what the future is, that is not the reality. Well, Rosha grammatically is to pass on. The Torah is meant to, so you have an obligation to study it in a way and to apply it in a way that you're being sufficiently a role model for the future generations that they should assume it to pass it on to their generations. That's the Morosha. Right.
Otherwise, what good is it?
Otherwise, it stops. He says, Yerusha, a person receives inheritance, and he decides to destroy it. If his kids are complaining, but he has a right to destroy it. If it's inheritance, inheritance means it's yours. I can do what I want with it. If I want to give it away, I want to destroy it, I can pass it on. Morosha is no, it's given to you to pass on. So that's what I thought originally. He was saying, not only with you, but you have an obligation to guarantee that the future generations enter into the bris as you're entering into the bris. Right? Then it makes a difference. So there's a liability. You have your own liability, and if you don't pass it on sufficiently to the next generation, that's an additional liability. But that's what I thought. But he says really not saying that you have an obligation to accept on their behalf the bris. I mean, otherwise, how could you obligate the future generations unless you assume the responsibility for them? Based on the principle of Zochen Lam Shalom B'Vonav.
If you're not going to pass it on properly, then they won't consider this. And then you can't be Zochen.
Okay. No, not if. If, let's say it was not passed on properly, and that's why the future generation fails, then there's liability to the previous generation for not passing it on. That's a takeoff of what Rabbeinu Bachya says. That's what I'm saying. The Rechaim HaKodesh is just saying. No. If you passed it on properly, they fail. They have to deal with their own issues. It has nothing to do with you. You passed it on properly. You taught your children properly, and there's no reason. So your children, they failed. I mean, God forbid, they should fail. Because they didn't pass it on properly. You passed it on properly. Every person, you can't control what another person does. Let's say you try to influence a person, and your child didn't want to, rejected it. What are you supposed to do? You did your best. You can't do more than that. So there's no culpability to the parents, right? They gave the child the Jewish education. They were the role models, everything. Child chose to go out the door. What are you supposed to do? You can't do anything.
So there's infinite risk and benefit to everything one does. Because I don't know how many generations will be after us.
Yeah, but it has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with you. That's up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We have to do our best to be the role models, to assume our responsibility. Beyond that, that's up to God what happens. Right? I mean, God could create a situation where people are forced to come back, which the Mar says. At the end of time, Mashiach will do if Jews do tshuva. Without tshuva, He's going to make it so difficult. It says, I think Obama almost meets the profile of what the Gemara talks about. He'll install a king that his decrees are more harsh than Haman or Russia. And when he installs that kind of king, Jews are coming back. They will do tshuva. So that, again, that has nothing to do with us. That's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Hashem says we have to arrive at point Z by a certain date. And if the way it's going is not, He's going to turn the screws that make sure we do arrive at that date. But ultimately, it'll be bechiro within that context. Moshe Rabbeinu knew. Okay, therefore. But that's not full. Moshe Rabbeinu has nothing to do with Yeshua. Yeshua's leadership was perfect. He's not criticized for his leadership. The Jews chose to become idolaters, whatever. I mean, the Torah speaks of Rom Levavcha, you're going to be secure financially, and you're going to bolt from God. Because you're going to say, I don't need you anymore. So what are you supposed to do? Your child doesn't want to be humble. Gets to his head. So what are you supposed to do? So it's interesting, no Yaki said today. Real Yaki. But the real Yakis, even I'm talking about the ones who were observant, really committed to the Masorah. Not the modernized ones. As wealthy as they were, and as successful as they were, they always lived a very conservative life. They never allowed their money to go to their heads. But never. I mean, they lived, if you walk into their homes, you would never know they're wealthy people. I mean, they lived okay, but you never knew they were very wealthy. And that was really the stopgap, not to step over that line, because you never know where that goes. And that's why they always lived their lives very conservatively. And their children also committed to the Masorah. The Masorah was first and foremost by the Yekis. Your child went to shul with you, never missed a minyan. He davened from a certain kind of siddur. They had a siddur called the Reudelheim siddur. You know that? See? It's not the real McCoy. Okay? It's a siddur that was printed in Germany. It has a certain type. The page is set a certain way. It has all the German minhagim, whatever it may be. They all daven from that siddur. And when they hear certain German expressions, they smile. It's that kind of thing. That's how ingrained it is in them. I'm not talking about Farsi. We'll get to Farsi soon. Okay. The name birth is a Farsi name. Okay, let's see the Mishnah. The Maral. I just wanted to know, I know he's here.
Rabbi, what are we talking about? What's the bris?
That you committed to the Torah. And if not, all the curses in it. No, but we're talking about Hargriz Mareva, all of the curses and the blessings.
Yeah.
And the Tocha, that if God forbid, Sinai, there's no Tocha. That original bris was violated with the Chet Egel. Right? And this is also bris of Arevos. It's another bris. We're responsible. Till now, Jews were not responsible for one another.
So this bris is...
This is another form of keeping in mind.
Well, if you don't keep in mind the other person, then
It's Arevus.
if you take a look in the Kli Yakar, that's what he speaks about. What guarantees the future of the Jewish people? Arevos. Because if you have no culpability, you say, look, I don't mix in somebody else's business. When it becomes your business, then you mix into it. Because it's your business.
So that's the bris
That's
we're
the bris.
talking about here.
Right.
We're talking about the bris
Of a responsibility.
Communal. For fellow Jews.
Correct.
And when did this take place?
At Arismon, right now, right at the end of Moshe's life.
Right at the end of his life. He gathered everybody together.
Right.
So now the bris is between you and God. And
It's a new bris. It's a new level of bris. New level of bris.
so you're responsible for everybody.
The Yaakov goes to show. He goes to show like Ochan. Ochan took from the spoils of Yericho. But it says Chote Yisrael. Why were they Chote? Nobody knew about it. So he says if the Jews themselves would have applied the principle of Arevos properly, he wouldn't have dared to do what he did. He thought he'd get away with it. But if the mindset is, you never know who's watching, and you're going to get caught, you're not going to commit the crime. But because Jews, they were lax in this area, so you could get away with it, and nobody would know about it. Right? If everybody knows the liability for somebody else's action is no less than your own, then everybody has their eyes wide open, and not going to let anybody move an inch if they're going to be the culprits. So people, they were lax. That's why Ochan, even though no one was aware of it, that's why Ochan took the liberty to take from the spoils of Jericho. He says the whole idea of, I once said, by Dosan Aviram, they left the money. Nobody was supposed to leave the money till the next day, planted it in the field, because they got away with it. When you get away with other things, many times, and nobody says anything, nobody reprimands you, so you go further. You get away. You feel you get away with other things. You feel empowered, and that was the story of Dosan Aviram. And over there it says Chote Yisrael by the Mon. What the Jews left the Mon out. Why are they sinful? Because if they would have not tolerated this kind of behavior, Dosan Aviram would have been considered behaving this way. It's always that way. Why do people take liberties? Because they were never reined in on. But if they understand the consequence of their behavior, they're not going to take that liberty. It's okay. Thank you. Just going to do just a little morale.